Hello everyone, it's your girl Karina Dean, and I am coming to you live to bring you the scoop and the info of the upcoming transit of Jupiter returning home to Sagittarius. That's right, Jupiter is leaving Scorpio and moving back into the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. We are about a month to about 6 weeks ahead, and I like to give these ahead of time to get you on your game plan. Jupiter's transit is going to be about a year, and this is a full focus on your blessings, your abundance, your fortune. Everything that you really want to see manifested could happen this year due to Jupiter returning back to Sagittarius. So welcome everyone who's listening. I just want to let you know that this is more about taking action than just choosing to, watch a transit. This is about how is it that you're going to monopolize? How are you going to use this transit to improve your life? And so one of the things that you'll have to do first is know where is Sagittarius in your chart. So anyone who's listening, if you know where Sagittarius is in your chart, could you let me know in the comments, and we'll talk a little bit about your chart since you're here with me live. Now, I want to give you a secret, okay? You have Jupiter and you have Sagittarius in your natal chart. Jupiter may not be in Sagittarius. For any of you that are born with Jupiter in Sagittarius, then, this applies to you. But for those who have Jupiter separate from Sagittarius in their natal chart, I want you to know that Jupiter, wherever Jupiter is, it brings wisdom, teachings, blessings. You have almost like a sense of a guru in this area of your chart. Okay? However, Jupiter and Sagittarius work as an anchor. So even if you have Jupiter in a different sign, right, than Sagittarius, your Sagittarius house is still like working with your Jupiter. It's still like one of the strongest houses when it comes to your fortune and blessings. And so like there's this dance of Jupiter and Sagittarius in your natal chart. So I want you guys to allow yourself to see that you have major strengths in your natal chart, and this is a way to play upon your strengths. So how many of you are like, yeah, I know I have strengths, right? But like, what does me knowing my natal chart have anything to do with that? Sometimes it's like, what is all this superstitious stuff about astrology and like me finding my strengths from like a chart online? You know what I'm saying? But this is a way to tap into it in a form of insight that can only propel what you already do. And you might find that there are synchronations and parallels to what you're doing and what your chart says. And you might find that there actually might be some things that you are doing, but you could tap into other things that can make things in life even more exciting, fortunate, and prosperous. So we're talking about abundance, because wherever Jupiter goes, it expands. So how many of you really want to get into how you can expand your life from now until next year, December the 2nd of 2019, and see an incredible growth in this area of life? Well, we're going to talk about this transit. Jupiter being in Sagittarius is like a huge dynamic shift in your optimism, in your optimistic point of view. Jupiter being in Scorpio has been all about these dark truths coming to light, and Jupiter is doing its work to bring all of the gunk and the sexual, incidents and criminal reports and investigations up to the surface, right? But Jupiter does not like to be in Scorpio. Jupiter doesn't want to be in all this muck of people's secrets and hidden intentions and dark lusty desires. Jupiter wants to be somewhere where it can expose light, where it can teach, where it could shine, where it can be optimistic. So Jupiter has done its work in Scorpio and is continuing to finish up its work in Scorpio. And wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, this is how Jupiter is working for you right now. Jupiter is bringing up things to the light, showing you where, you're having these desires and do they match what is true to you, to who your true, spiritual worship is about. Because Jupiter is in Scorpio, which is classically ruled by Mars. So this is about conflict and war, revenge. Jupiter's bringing all those things up inside of you. And yeah, you might see things in the news headlines about Bill Cosby. And yes, a lot of that is synchronized to Jupiter and Scorpio. But forget about what you're seeing in the news. What is happening in your life right now? Right? Is it a little uncomfortable for you if you're like an earth sign, if you're an air sign? It might be. If you're a fire sign, you might not really enjoy all of this crap coming up to the surface, but it's all for the best good. It's all to help you to see how it is that you can clean out the foundations of your intentions. So that when pure light comes into your life, it's not hiding anything. When you're truly optimistic, you're not shadowing the secrets behind all of that sunshine. That when pure light comes, it really is actually bringing a brand new clean canvas, right? Clean earth, clean water to grow whatever it is that you want to have in life. So Jupiter has to make this transit so that when it's time to shine, it is pure light. So pure light is coming. Knowledge, teaching, these are all connected to light. And so the first thing that I want you to do when you look at your chart is to say, what house is my Sagittarius in? Because this is where you naturally have an abundance of knowledge. And maybe some of you have already tapped into this, but some of you might be like, okay, I realized that this is something that I do, but I didn't realize, I wouldn't say that I have a lot of knowledge in this area. And that's because that's how Jupiter and Sagittarius work. It's not like this intentional force. Jupiter is this big old ball of gas. And so it's kind of like you use it or you don't. And sometimes we rest on our strengths, like we coast on them. Like they're not really our strengths, but they're there all along, but we're not really pushing them and utilizing them to our very best benefit. And that's okay. The reason that is because it's not Mars energy. It's not pushing, it's not force. It's just there. Like gas, it just kind of like hangs in the air. So wherever we have Sagittarius in our chart, it's like resting potential. So I want you to take a look at your natal chart and look at where it is that you have resting potential. Okay, so how many of you would really like to know how you can optimize on this resting potential? Well, it's actually very simple. You're going to actually share with others and teach others what it is that you know about this area of life. And as much as it might seem like that's kind of silly to some people, or look, I don't want to be a teacher. Look, I don't really want to, I don't really want to tell people about my, about the things that I do, or I don't really think that I really have these strengths. This is my chance to share with you that you do. And this is how you awaken that potential. So for me personally, in my life, Jupiter is in an area that is of creativity, right? But Sagittarius is in an area of social media. So for me, there is a lot that I do on social media, but I would never say, oh, I'm an expert at it. But the truth is that I'm on social media every day, looking at analytics and finding the trends and learning and doing all these things. So how could I optimize on my natural tendency to go towards social media? And so that's my personal take on it. So for you, how could you make certain things in your life showcase to others and teach to others how you can make this even better? So let's say that you have Sagittarius in the first house. Okay, so let's go through the steps on all of this. Sagittarius is in the first house. So this is the area of my personality, my identity, my presentation to the people out there who don't know who I am. But sometimes you may show this jolly, joyful side of you. You know, that's the tendency of Sagittarius in the first house. But then sometimes there's a part of you that really wants to reach out and teach others and get people motivated and moving. Maybe even kind of like preaching to others, you know, telling them like what it is that they need to spiritually connect to the intentions of their next movements. What is it that you want to let people know about what you know? That would be the first house with Sagittarius in there. So this might be a chance for you to really just come out with the congregation, come out with the choir, and start letting people know what you know everywhere you go, even if people don't want to hear it. Jupiter will have your back this time around, and Jupiter will allow you to coast on its gas and being able to be seen and get fortune and abundance through the teaching that you have. So one of my favorite things about astrology is actually learning about the generations. And every planet in the outer planets, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, they all have like these principles that have to do with large amounts of time. And so we're all in a generation where we are about to experience a lot of shifting on our political platforms. If you haven't noticed, a lot of people are choosing to really stand up and be more active in the political arenas of the United States and worldwide. There's also a lot of people who are choosing to be influencers and entrepreneurs and want to put themselves out there. We're living in a very special time. And Jupiter takes 12 years to come back to whatever sign it's in. So it's been 12 years since Jupiter has been in Sagittarius. And so now that Jupiter is back and we're in this pivotal moment where we're a year behind when we're going to have a new election. You know, we're in a year behind where things are about to really skyrocket. A lot of shifts are going to happen. And then here comes Jupiter in Sagittarius, all jolly and whatnot, saying, all right, well, if we're going to experience a major shift, then why does it have to be turmoil? Why does everything have to be a prediction of darkness, of madness, that the financial systems are going to go down? Even if the financial systems are going to go down, why can't we have the faith that everything is working out in our favor, that the universe is constantly working for us? And so that's a Jupiterian point of view. It's optimistic no matter what. It's jolly, it's joyful no matter what. So that's the first house. In the second house, Jupiter brings out our self-worth. And so if you have Jupiter in the second house, maybe it's like, wow, like I really know that I'm the shit, excuse my language. You know, I'm really the person here that people could utilize for value. And maybe I could be something like, this could be second or eighth house Sagittarius. Maybe I could be like a money guru and tell people about how to make more abundance happen in their life, or how can they attract more money, right? Through like law of attraction. Or how could they just choose to build their worth just the plain old organic way. The third house is the house of social media, of communication. So maybe if you have Sagittarius here, well, you're ready to share with the entire internet of all the things that you know that you've been holding inside of you. Now that all the gunk is out, you can be the pure light that shines through all the exposés and spilling teas and, you know, all the things that people want to do to kind of like bring people down. Maybe you're the one that's coming out and saying, look, like, I'm over it. You know, I was sharing with some of you before that I have Sagittarius in the third house. And one of the things that I'm totally over when it comes to astrology, and I have this in my 101 course, is I'm done with the superstitions and the stereotypes. You know, like I love astrology memes. They're cute and everything, but like people take it too far, and you no longer are you, but you're this zodiac sign. And the stereotypes and the superstitions of Mercury retrograde and all of that, it's just gone too far. So now we're controlled by all of these thought forms of astrology controlling your life, when astrology is not that. It's a tool. In fact, nobody is really one zodiac sign. Everybody's all zodiac signs. And nobody's really a zodiac sign in the first place, because a zodiac sign is a cluster of stars and you are a human being. A free-willed human being that can choose to use astrology or not. So that's my take on the Sagittarius in the third house. You know, I want to be the one that comes through with the light, that astrology is not this thing where you say, oh, well, here's the dark side of Scorpios and I hate all Scorpios. Like, come on. That's just really immature at this point, especially with something as ancient as astrology. This is not a time to be petty. This is a time to utilize this knowledge and make something of it. So if you have Sagittarius in the fourth house, then this is about home and shelter and family. This might be a chance for you to awaken the part of you that truly knows how to love on your family, to make family grow and be abundant, to create a powerhouse family, to create a family that can leave behind heritage and teach the generations and teach about the past and teach to the future. This could be about growing foundations for your family, like real estate in the fourth house. If you have Sagittarius in the fifth house, well, Jupiter is coming here to bring lots of love and romance and dating. And maybe you have a lot of knowledge. Maybe you've gone through a lot in which you're dealing with all of this short-term relationships. And now you really have the truth about what it means to date. Or maybe you have a good formula in how to truly court someone or find the love of your life. Jamila asks, how long will Jupiter be in Sag? Jupiter will be in Sag for a little over a year. So Jupiter will be in Sag in November. And I'll give you the exact date. Jupiter will turn to Sag November the 9th. And it will stay in Sag, of course, transit, retrograde, back and forth, until next year. Until 2020. Of December the 2nd. Let me just double check that, because I'm going a little crazy here. I'm like so excited for this transit. So I'm checking my ephemeris, and let me just double check that. Okay, hold on. No, hold on. Forget everything I said. So Jupiter will be in Sag. Let's see. Hold on one second, guys. Let me get this right for you. So we are in 2018, right? Okay. So Jupiter enters Sagittarius. I have to show you guys how to read it ephemeris so you can see it's not like super easy. Okay, yes. So Jupiter enters Sagittarius on the 9th. I got that right. I had to slow my roll and go all the way back to the beginning. And then Jupiter enters and leaves Sagittarius on December the 2nd. I said all of this and I second guessed myself. Like, come on. So Jupiter enters Sagittarius on November the 9th and this year, and then in 2019 leaves on December the 2nd. So it's over a year that we're going to have this. Hi to everyone who's tuning in. And hi to everyone who's tuning in after the live. And I'm just letting you guys know, giving you guys the heads up that this is like a great transit. Because sometimes we deal with like these doomsday transits. And it's true that there are some transits that are like really tough to get through. But this is one that everybody could look forward to. Really. This is one that everyone could truly look forward to. This is why I'm doing it early, because I want to get you guys excited. I want to spread excitement about the fact that abundance and fortune is capable for you. But the key to understanding this energy is knowing that it is not like force energy. It's not like Mars. It is resting potential. So wherever it is that you have this, you have to awaken it if you truly want to manifest. And there's different techniques in manifesting. Some of you guys might actually be better at this than I am, you know, and I want you to tell me and teach me how to manifest the things that you want in life. You know, we all can work together with our strengths here. But this is a chance for you to optimize this resting potential so that you understand, if you can understand that we're all here for very specific reasons. Do we understand that? Do we understand that when we all work at our best potential, that the world becomes a better place, that it doesn't need to be dog eat dog, like that you need to one up on somebody else? And competition is great. Competition is a way in which you can just get better at what you're doing. It gives you motivation to keep going towards being better and better and better. You know, it keeps you out of the place of stagnancy. But truly, like, this is a chance for everyone to get to a level where they can truly be excited and happy about life. As a Taurus, I really need to know that I can do it. You know, it's great to have help from other people. That's like Libra and like Pisces and Scorpio. Like, they're about like other people, you know, connection, Aquarius, you know, those connections. But as a Taurus, like, the biggest thing I want to know is that I did it. Like, I know that if it all comes down to it, I'm capable of making something with my own two hands, with my own resourcefulness. So as your Taurus astrologer, that's the message that I'm sending to you, is that you can do this with your own two hands. So let's move on. So I had Sagittarius in the 5th house. That's dating, creativity. That's like, you know, optimizing on anything that you naturally have talent with, but maybe you don't necessarily push your talent out there. You know, maybe you're talented, but you've got albums, or you've got paintings, you've got scripts, you've got a lot of history behind your belt, but you're not necessarily putting it out there and letting people know about what creative things that you have, right? Or you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to romance and dating. And people, do you know that on Google, like, that's one of the #1 things that are searched for is, you know, how can I find out if this person likes me? So how great would it be if you had this kind of knowledge with resting potential in your 5th house, and you go out there and you help change the world. You unite lovers, and you help people find a way to find each other. So Sagittarius in the 5th house can be through any of those sort of themes or topics. And then Sagittarius in the 6th house, this is about vocation. What is your calling? What is the thing that you want to get up and do every day? Again, we're living in a world in which people are changing. They don't want to just work for work's sake. I mean, they got to make money, and we want to be abundant, but can we do it in a way in which, if I'm going to hustle, I enjoy my hustle? Like, if I'm going to work 9 to 5 plus hours and I truly love what I'm doing, that's the 6th house. Like, can I truly be at work and be excited and optimistic about the fact that what I'm doing and who I'm working with is making a difference, is teaching other people? And if you have Sagittarius in your 7th house is, well, the 5th house is dating, but the 7th house is marriage contracts and business contracts. And actually the 7th house, and you can learn more of these details and how I know this through the astrology course that I offer, and it's completely free. I'll leave you the link. You get like a first initial 2 hours, and then you get videos that I send you in your email, and you just learn small techniques here and there so that you can read your own natal chart, because I'm not necessarily trying to charge you to learn astrology. I kind of want to help you get through that so that we can get to the good stuff and how to use it. So if you have Sagittarius in that 7th house, then the 7th house is about abundance in partnerships with Sagittarius there. And maybe this might be something in which because 7th house is also justice, law, because it's naturally Libra ruled. So this is the law. Libra and Sagittarius coming together is about the law. And I can explain all of these things in my courses that I have for you, because it's too much to go into right now. But if you have Sagittarius here, this is where you might actually be creating like new ways in which people can get married, or innovative ways in which marriage is conducted, or maybe you're just creating a brand new way of living your own marriage, or finding business partners that are truly like going to help propel you into a place that you are happy with, and creating contracts that are truly win-win situations. Okay, so let's move on to the 8th house. The 8th house is where we keep our secrets. It is the place where we go through transformation. Usually has a lot to do with psychological shifting. And if you're having Sagittarius here, well, you are going to be blessed, because the optimistic light, pure light, is coming into you. And it may not necessarily be seen by so many people because it's the 8th house, but it will be so pivotal in your own sense of mental health, right? In your own sense of transformation towards who you truly want to become. And if you've gone through any trauma and you have Sagittarius in the 8th house, this transit is going to help you to heal. But it's, again, resting potential. So you have to go out there and you've got to look for that help. But there's somebody there that wants to give it to you. And then what's going to be beautiful about this is that you can optimize on this and help somebody else through the help that you got. And it just keeps going and going and going, because Jupiter in Sagittarius is a sign of abundance. So there's abundance through traumatic healing in the 8th house. And the 8th house goes very deep. But when you have pure light here, now it's not just about exposing truth, right? Exposing the trauma, which is natural for the 8th house. Because it's like, okay, you go and you clean up all the gunk at the bottom, and then you just have all the dirt just sitting there. But the cleanup, like the cleaning off the dirt, so that you have a complete clean canvas. That's what this is about. Because it's one thing to expose somebody and be like, oh, I'm sorry for referencing Bill Cosby, but it's just what's in the news today, right? So it's like, oh, yeah, Bill Cosby, has sexually assaulted all these women. But then what do you do with that? You just keep beating the same dead horse over and over again about the same topic, and everybody just keeps sharing how much they hate it? Or are you going to do something different? Are you going to create a new cycle that helps women to overcome these kinds of traumas? Are you going to help people to be better? Are you going to help men who may have issues with women or sexual abuse? Are you going to help these people, or are you just going to keep exposing them? Because there is a duty in the exposing, because we need to find the truth. But then what do you do with the truth? That's Sagittarius. Scorpio is finding the truth, investigating the truth. And Sagittarius is, what do you do with it? Okay, in the 9th house, if you have Sagittarius in the 9th house, this is the area that has to do with its natural placement. So Sagittarius is also the sign of traveling for spiritual enlightenment, exploring religious sects and cultures in different areas of the world. And so if you have Jupiter here, more than likely you have the opportunity, and maybe you already do, but you have even more of the opportunity to take a really important trip. Take many trips, in fact. But this is the area that has to do not necessarily of pleasure. I mean, it will be pleasureful, but it's not like, let me go take a trip to Miami and go clubbing. But it's like, let me go and explore the cultures of Miami and see how people relate to one another when it comes to their spirituality. It's like that. It's kind of travel, like missionary work too as well. It's like that ninth house kind of energy. So if you have, or education, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you have a Sagittarius ninth house, you may find yourself having the opportunity to take the trip, but you have to take the trip. Jupiter and Sag, astrology, they're not going to make you do it. You have to take the opportunity. But the opportunities are coming. They're synchronizing with you to take those enlightening spiritual growth travels. And also, this is an area that has to do with gurus and preachers, rabbis. So if you have somebody that you really look up to, maybe they don't have those kind of like very special titles, but somebody that you truly love that gives you a lot of spiritual feeding, then maybe it might be a chance in which you gain something from them so that you become that as well, or you connect with that spiritual teacher and work with them or become like them, work at that same level as they do. This also is an area that has to do with higher education. So maybe you finally graduate. You finally take the moves that you need to get the education that you need and finally get the graduation that is owed to you through the work that you've done. If you have Sagittarius in the 10th house, this is an area of life that has to do with your career, reputation, and the work that you do when it comes to the legacy that you leave behind as per the work that you do, right? So Sagittarius here is giving you acknowledgement, is giving you opportunity for acknowledgement, but also giving you opportunity to see that what you really want to do in life is right there within your grasp. So the 10th house has a lot to do with you going for the top of the mountain. And maybe you really are really good at being a career person, but maybe there's something that has stalled you a little bit. Maybe you just don't put enough effort into it because it really just comes natural to you. Wherever you have Sagittarius, it's a natural talent. That's why it's resting potential. It's a natural thing that you got going. But sometimes that's why it doesn't always see its potential, right? See itself manifested. So with the 10th house, Sagittarius becomes something that has to do with you being a career-oriented person, no matter what the career is, right? And going for it, going after it. Disciplined and with persistence, because the 10th house has those themes with it. And then also on top of that, it might be in the fields of Sagittarius, which would be, being a professor or being like maybe a religious scholar or something like that. It could be that, but it doesn't have to be that, because the 10th house always doesn't show exactly what you do. It just signifies, as an astrologer, your need for career, right? Your need to have a reputation that precedes you. So Sagittarius in the 11th house will have to do with your groups of friends, the people that you associate with, and also your hopes and wishes, the things that you really wish for in your life. Now, how cool is that you have Jupiter and Sagittarius coming into this area where your wishes are granted? I mean, it's like literally the genie coming and saying, you got 3 wishes, but the thing is that you can't be scared of the genie. And so that might be what it is if you have Sagittarius in the 11th house, is that you're just like, wait, I don't understand. Why is it that things actually come to me because I want them? Just remember, we've gone through so much dark transits that like when Jupiter hits Sagittarius, you might be like, oh my gosh, like I really can just get what I want because I asked for it, because I just want it. And so this is an area of life where you can open up to many different kinds of teachers. You may have teachers and gurus as your friends. You might work in these social settings in which you can, utilize them to help you tap into that attraction for whatever it is that you want. And the 11th house is where you get the reward. So the 10th house is like, okay, I want this career. And the 11th house is like, yes, I have proof of concept that I have this career because I got an award, or I got a diploma, or I got, some kind of plaque or something like that. 11th house is like the proof of career due to reward, the trophy itself. You get the trophy itself in the 11th house. And now, if you have Sagittarius in the 12th house, this will be very similar, I feel, to the 8th house, because it has to do with the subconscious mind. So 8th and 12th house both have a lot to do with healing of the mind, mental health healing. The 12th house also has to do with foreign land. So maybe this might be a chance in which you are utilizing your knowledge to help people who are in, across the seas. And maybe you might connect with more foreign people than you ever could imagine across the seas. Also similar to the 9th house. But you're not going on a trip necessarily for spiritual enlightenment like the 9th house, but you're connecting and teaching people, maybe even just right from your solitude. Because the 12th house is like being in bed, like in a hospital bed, or being like in your own little world. So the 12th house is reaching out to people even though you might be in more solitude. And you might even also be somebody that works in hospitals or is able to help hospital establishments to some degree, because it is about people who are confined to beds. So maybe you are in some way utilizing your talents, skills, and abilities to help people, help the establishment itself, or the people who utilize the establishment, or even things like hospitals, like, nursing homes and things like that. So that has been my full rundown of Sagittarius. Jupiter coming back home to Sagittarius in the signs, and I'm really excited about this transit, and I wanted to get on it as soon as I realized that it was happening. And just put it out there, look forward to where we're going, because where we're going is like going to help us get through what we're going through right now. And if any of you want to sign up for my astrology, intro to astrology, and start learning how to read your chart and learn how to interpret the chart so that you can follow along and you can experiment in your own ways, everything is completely free. I am working on astrology courses, which are something that you would pay for because it's more extensive. But everything when it comes to learning how to find the things in the chart is completely free. And I will leave that link available for you. I call it my first astrology class. It's a 2-hour class, and then you're put into an email funnel that continues to give you more content in how to learn astrology. It's very simple. Everything I do is very simple, because I don't like to complicate things. And if you're interested, I'll make sure that you guys have that link. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments, questions, just your attention, because you could put your attention to anything, but the fact that you're here, I'm hoping that's because what I'm giving to you is valuable and something that you could utilize, right? Or even just affirm for you that life is working for you. And this is something that even I need to know for myself. So we're all in this together. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you on my next live. Peace and love.